You can set people on fire, force them to explode, send swarms of flesh-eating insects, conjure lacerations over their bodies. But the one spell that kills people instantly without suffering is banned. That's too much, man. All right, it's too fast. What's going on, guys, and welcome back to the channel. My name is Damian Lee, and today we have the best posts from r/greentexts. Supposed genius, possesses book that kills whoever you want in whatever way you want, no matter what. Any parameter of the death can be chosen and will happen. Never thought to write his own name with dies at 90 surrounded by big 20 big titty bitches after never getting caught and making the world a better place. Is he stupid? He was basically God if he knew how to play it. I mean, shit, talk about a fumble. Microsoft commits Sudoku. Sony kneels before Steam. Nintendo does their own thing in the corner. How the fuck did this fat bastard win? I mean, Steam is like the place where games are sold, and they're the company, you know? If we're talking just as a platform for games, Steam has a schedule of sales and events, achievements, remote play, Steam inputs, so you can have like custom control schemes. They do broadcasting, they have the community market and cloud saves and family sharing and workshops and all sorts of stuff, right? Steam has the most features, and its community features and stuff, like beyond any other competitor, Steam blows them out of the water. It's also one of those rarities where a monopoly is actually advantageous to consumers because everything's on Steam. Like, think back to give you an example. The only other thing I could think of something that was good to be a monopoly was like when Netflix was the only streaming service in town. And so everything just went to Netflix, and now there's 10,000 different streaming services. Steam is also, I don't mean to, I know I'm like an Anyway, yeah, Steam does a lot of good things. They do a lot of things right. Alien that has an IQ of like 50,000. First thing he does when he wakes up is go on a Hulk rampage. What was his problem? Are we referring to Alien Prometheus by chance? And the big alien, I believe, was called the Engineer. So there was a fan theory posted like a decade ago when I was looking into this, because I was like, I don't know, why is the Engineer so mad? And just so we're clear, this is a stinker movie by a lot of people's. I've not seen a lot of good, good words said about Prometheus. But there's a couple things people think of why the Engineer attacked the Prometheus crew. They didn't offer anything to help the Engineer. Like there was no water for him to drink, or they didn't let him breathe. He was waiting for other engineers to help him and not humans or xenomorphs. When the Engineer decided to attack the Prometheus crew was when Wayland told a crew member to attack Elizabeth Shaw. So he was probably like maybe a little disgusted at what humanity became, with a particular extra special fuck you to Peter Wayland, right? However, at the same time, wasn't there like, I don't know, as I was reading into it, there was a lot of stuff cut from that movie, and I saw some people talking about an earlier draft of the script that showed that the Engineer had a xenomorph inside of him, and it freaked him out because he didn't want to be woken up unless it was by his own people, and that freak out scene remained. So I don't know, man. There was apparently a lot of stuff cut from that movie, and I guess it's kind of silly to debate over it, right? Get ad on YouTube, cover screen, turn off volume, close eyes, countdown. They will not win. You know, here's the heartbreaking part. Just by virtue of you being served that ad, they already did. That's they've already won, man. And what happens if you get an unskippable ad? You gotta count down for the entire duration of the ad? Or I know you're gonna get impatient. You're gonna want stimulation. That dopamine sensor is bone dry. You're gonna need something. And when you do, when your tummy starts rumbling for that dopamine hit, you're gonna open your eyes and guess what? Advertisement. Oh my God. And to any students that wish to take extra classes, we do have access to miraculous devices that allow their user to go backwards in time. Now, be careful with these, for ill use can lead to truly disastrous consequences, and we honestly can't be bothered to keep an eye on students using them. Just last week, we had 3 psychotic breakdowns from overwrought students meeting themselves and having an identity crisis. And poor Tyrese passed away after getting it into his head that he could mug himself in the past and have 2 wands. It was terribly amusing. Now off to bed. Oh, and don't think of the fact you'll be biologically about 2 years older than all your peers by the end of school. Professor Trelawney set up a betting pool on someone self-harming after realizing it, and I don't want to spoil the odds. Oh, I almost forgot. I decided to give one of the first-year male students an invisibility cloak. No, I'll not be revealing who it is. Wow. The female students are likely wondering right now if their bathrooms are magically protected from male student entry, and I can safely assure you they are not. Welcome to Hogwarts! Oh my god. 3 years ago, people were justifying paying $20,000 for a JPEG of an ape. NFTs was so weird as like a phenomenon because like when that was at its biggest, Grimes was able to sell like what 6 million or something. Like there was a shit ton. Or like a CryptoPunk thing sold like it was like 11.8 million. OpenSea was going crazy, but now OpenSea is like dead. Its trading volume is it is cratered from where it used to be by like I think basically 98%, 99%, something like that. And of course, there's people getting sued over like rug pulls and shit. And the thing is, NFTs had no actual utility. They were a bubble, man. Like they were like Beanie Babies or whatever, and the value drops, people lose interest and start to feel that they've been kind of ripped off. In the lawsuits, I'm going back to that. Did you know this was 2023? Buyers of the Bored Ape NFTs started to sue after they turned out to be bad investments. There was Sotheby's $24 million sale to FTX gave Bored Apes some sort of air of being legit and like a good investment. Sotheby's being the auction house, which has been named in that lawsuit, was named as a defendant because of investors who were like, this Bored Ape Yacht Club is some bullshit. These sold 101 NFTs for $24.4 million in a 2021 September auction. But now the floor price is like 50 grand in 2023 worth of, what is it, Ether or Ethereum? Writer attempts to make a badass stoic protagonist, accidentally makes him autistic. Yeah, can we throw Duke Nukem in here as well? I feel like Duke Nukem is also on that autism spectrum, man. I feel like most video game protagonists probably are, especially the brooding, edgy ones like this. Like I can 100% see Gordon Freeman being autistic. I feel like you pick any of the TF2 mercs, they are 100% some form of autistic, maybe Asperger's. Who else, man? Link from Legend of Zelda, probably him. And just so we're clear, I don't think anyone is saying that suggesting that Gordon Freeman is autistic makes it like, oh, this is just like a cool personality trait, like someone being stoic. No, that's not, I feel like you can get the wrong message pretty quickly. All I'm saying is you could see those traits in those characters and maybe it's nice to feel validated through them. Yeah, babies just randomly die sometimes. No, it never happens in public. No, it never happens during the daytime. No, it never happens when the father's monitoring the baby. So what if it usually happens around the peak of postpartum depression? That's just a coincidence. You will not investigate further. Why is nobody concerned about this? Now, keep in mind, I'm not a parent, but I would assume that SIDS, like the reason that happens, I don't think it's a very common thing, but I'm saying like the most common reason that would happen is probably suffocation, right? Like if they sleep on their belly or if they're sleeping with blankets or if there's like co-sleeping. So like if a parent is sleeping with the kid in the bed and they roll onto the baby in their sleep, like it's probably like a failure in their cardiorespiratory, you know what I mean? And I mean, on top of that, doctors, at least I would imagine, doctors would be trained to recognize abuse and would report that. SIDS is considered a totally separate thing. There's really no evidence to suggest that like postpartum mothers are doing this as like an explanation for SIDS. SIDS increased, as far as I'm reading, when people thought that infants should be put to bed on their stomachs, and then decreased when they were on their backs. It's more of an environmental thing than a like, oh, the mothers are doing it. I don't know. Well, come on, man. I mean, babies are like hamsters in the way where if they die, it's like a freak accident. You know what I mean? Like, dude. I mean, you just prevent SIDS, like no blanket, sleep on their back. It's like the ABC system, right? If a baby sleeps, it's alone on their back in the crib. That's, you know, that's the way to do it.
Babies are just kind of like almost have souls, but not yet. So if a baby dies, it's like, well, what?
Clover X, Violent Monkey, uBlock, and all of the good extensions permanently gone. No alternative to re-enable them. Well, after 15 years, they finally lost me. What browser should I move to? I feel like the only option I would think of is like Firefox if you don't want to be like in the Chromium like ecosystem, right? But I think most browsers are on Chromium, are they not? Forgive, I'm not like knowledgeable on this. This isn't something that this isn't my strong suit. Because I know Brave has like a shitload of controversies, excuse me, but I don't know what else, man. I think just Firefox, right? Because again, Brave is like what Brave has like all sorts of shit they've done. Like in 2016, they were trying to extract money from websites without the owner's consent by like removing banner ads from websites to replace with their own ads. And in that same year, the CEO added this like Wikipedia clone into the default search engine list that was this like weird pay to win bullshit. In 2018, Tom Scott and a bunch of other creators noticed that Brave was soliciting donations in their names without the creator's knowledge. And then in 2020, they got caught injecting URLs with affiliate codes when users tried browsing to various websites. Also, in 2020, they started silently injecting ads into the homepage backgrounds to pocket that revenue. God, what else? There's just a list where I could go on. Just all sorts of goofy bullshit with Brave. I would not use that browser at all. So if you don't want to use Chrome, I suppose you just use Firefox. I guess that would be the solution. Or Microsoft Edge, you could use that too. Enhances your burger. Oops, OP here, typo. I meant ruins your burger. Yeah, does mommy still trim the crust off your Sammys too, huh? Hey man, nothing wrong with not liking a pickle. I personally love me a good pickle. But it depends on the way the pickle is served, all right? Because there's some restaurants that just give you a whole pickle on the side, like a spear. I don't like that. Cut my pickle into little chips and put it in my burger. That I enjoy. Don't give me a side of pickle with my burger. That is atrocious to me. Did not go for the cute, supportive, sweet professional woman who's always cheering him up. Did not go for the literal next door girl who was dying for his cock. Wow. Instead chose to go for a spiteful, selfish, demanding, hypocritical serial cheater. Was Peter stupid? Is this about Spider-Man? I don't follow what happened here. But I mean, do we really expect a guy who was bitten by a radioactive spider to be fully sane? And like he knows how to deal with, you know, toxic things. Hence the spider, right? So I don't know much about Spider-Man, you know, his love interests. I know there was Gwen Stacy, Mary Jane, and Black Cat, right? Those are the three main ones. You know, man, at the end of the day, I think we can all agree on one thing. It probably sucks to be Spider-Man's love interest, right? Or any superhero's love interest for that matter. You know what I mean? Supervillains like, oh, perfect, yeah, kidnap them. Yeah, it's a raw deal. At 8 years old, my dad gets caught cheating on mom with another dude. He leaves and is never heard from since. At 19, I told mom I was gay and she kicked me out because of what dad did. Found a sugar daddy to live with. He's super kinky and introduces me to some wild stuff. 2 years later, he died from a heart attack and I had to take care of his possessions and such. Written will says most of it is supposed to go to his living son. I asked lawyer about it because I didn't know he had a son. Yeah, some kid from my hometown. My face when I did the most disgustingly insane sex acts with my biological father. Yeah, thanks for the house, Dad. Well, I mean, I guess it's nice to know that you guys reconnected before he passed, right? I mean, if there's any sort of positive to take from this all. There's nothing funny about this. This is a fake story. This is a creative writing prompt. Spent weeks studying organic chemistry. Solved 100 plus exercises. Go take exam. Stay until the last second redoing everything multiple times to verify my answers. Hand it in. Professor crosses out all my answers without even reading them. Says you didn't write anything, then writes 02 out of 100, oh, at the top and hands it back to me. Wait until everyone leaves. Go back in and ask him what I did wrong so I can be better prepared for the semester. He sighs and explains there are too many people in this course and that he already gave out too many passing grades. Just study STEM, bro. Can you even do that? Like, if this is real, this is something you could escalate to the dean of the school, right? This is actually like egregious behavior from the professor, you know? And I can understand that showing your work is more important than getting the answer right. So like, whatever, but for it to be, if you got all the answers right and it just wasn't to the professor's preference, ooh. Be me, cleaning out grandparents' attic after they pass. Find a huge box labeled Fine China. Open it. It's some Royal Doulton set or whatever. Looks like it was never used. Google the pattern. Turns out it was like $500 back in the late 50s. My face when that's over $5,000 in today's money. Boomers really spent several months' salary on plates you can't even microwave. They used paper plates for cookouts but had a $5,000 paperweight in the cabinet. And they called millennials dumb with money. I mean, back in 1950, houses were like, what, $7 grand? They had the money to spend, man. Like, Fine China was the Funko Pops for boomers. You know, you realize this, right? That being said, I'm not gonna like make fun of them for having, you know, Fine China. Like, I'm pretty sure like when, you know, boomers would get married, you would pick out a China pattern. Like it was like this sentimental thing, like a necessary item when you started out the new household for the marriage. And even more so if like, you know, they end up becoming widowed and now this piece of china is like a physical link to their partner. It's just a collectible that it's like a sentimental thing. Yeah, it's whatever. Be me, 11th grade fat ass. In school reading Huckleberry Finn in class. Teacher calls me to read out loud next. Turn to first page of chapter 2. I start reading and immediately reach the line with the N-word. Shit, what do I do? .wav. Miss Watson's big chocolate, not saying that part, boy named Jim. Wow. Everyone in class stares at me. Black girl stops obnoxiously chewing her gum. Gets sent to the principal's office. He's black. Tells me he respects me for trying and lets me take a chocolate candy from the bowl on his desk. Take 2 because fat ass. Dude, I gotta, you know, man, I feel like as a teacher, the important thing to do here, because I don't think the answer is to like ban the book and not read To Kill a Mockingbird or Huckleberry Finn. I think that's a nearsighted view. I think if you're gonna bring material to the classroom as a teacher and there is something like the N-word in it, I think the important thing to do is to like set aside a day to talk about the history and context of the word, you know, and understand how different generations view it and get conversation started about that perspective. So that way going in, it's something that has a lot of weight, obviously. And I think that as an educator, it's probably the wisest decision to handle it delicately, but also with the aim to help your students learn like, okay, this is what this word has meant for this long. This is how these communities have taken it, both, you know, white and black communities. And so, you know what I mean? Like how it's been perceived and how it has as a you know, word grown from its origin to now. I think the history of that can be important if you're reading literature that has the N-word in it. You know, I think that's a fair thing to do. You know, 45% of men aged 18 to 25 have never asked out a woman in person. Bars are empty. Speed dating has more trouble getting men than women. Clubs are dying out. Yeah, what's going on with the men? Too busy learning about the entire food ecosystem of the Pokemon universe. I'm learning, you know, which ones are omnivores, herbivores, and carnivores, and I'm trying to figure out if Pidgey's eating Caterpie. I just gotta know. Get a home, get a job, get a wife. If she leaves him, he gets an instant hotter replacement. Everyone is friendly to him. The entire world revolves around him. The plot demands he can never struggle too much. No wars, no conflict happening. Basically idealized 50s America. I literally wish I had his life. Why am I supposed to feel sorry for this lucky motherfucker again? I mean, because he wasn't really like free to do whatever, right? He was kind of just in like a very fancy cell, more or less. Like Truman wants to explore, and they're like, no, we want to watch your every move. Stay in the cage, little birdie. And then you're writing this like, why the fuck does he want to leave paradise? I don't know. I feel like you're kind of missing the point of the movie, you know what I mean? I haven't seen my family for Christmas in 12 years. My mom always goes down to Arizona to see them. This year I saved up enough money and requested a week off so I could go visit. I was super excited to go. Told my cousin on Facebook I was coming this year but got left on red. My mom called the next day and told me I need to stay home because they have a lot going on. I was disappointed but understood. Open up Snapchat this morning to see my mom's story. My brother, sister, cousins, aunts, uncles, grandparents are all there. I'm the only one spending Christmas alone. My mom shortly after deleted the story and called me a dozen times. They don't have a lot going on at all. I just wasn't invited. Fuck, that's a heartbreaker, dude. Jesus Christ. In a masterful feat of game design, we have placed your respawn point 20,384,738 light years away from the boss fight, with none in between. The boss also two-shots you and their hitboxes bug out at times. Game of the year, Team Cherry. No. Game of the year is Mega Bonk.